Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope everyone had a great Tuesday. Obviously, the markets didn't do too well today, so we'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at, obviously, Bitcoin and Ethereum, see what's going on there. They were down for the most part. Ethereum's up a little bit right now. But we'll take a look at those. We'll also take a look at the miners, see how they did today. They were mostly down today. Obviously, we'll get into all the details. And then we got Cleanspark news. They're buying more miners. Feels like I'm talking about them every single week on this channel because they just keep providing news that they're buying miners, they're buying sites, they're doing this. So we'll talk all about this, see what's going on there. And these miners might have been bought from ARGO through a third party, but we'll discuss that. So they're working towards 22 exahash, which is great. And then we have Bitfarms and Digihost. Hashrate has pretty much stalled for both of them, and there's reasons why. But we obviously will get into all the details for the October mining production update, and there is some good news from both. So we'll get into all that. And as always, you guys know the drill here. I'm invested in following coins and companies. This is not financial advice. So please always do your own research. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. Okay, so let's get into the markets here really quick. So the S&P was down today 0.41% to 3,856. The Dow Jones was also down 0.24% to 32,653. And the NASDAQ was down 1.02% to 11,288. So it wasn't a good day in the markets. Bitcoin also was down 0.04 right now. It is going to be changed over to the new day. So we were actually down, let's see here on the chart, we were down 0.05 on the day for today on Bitcoin. So it's at 20,472 right now, which isn't too bad. We're kind of going a little bit sideways here, a little bit flat in the last basically 3 days or so. We came down obviously on Sunday. Monday we were kind of flat, and today we were also flat. We're starting out flat. So we'll see how this continues on. Right now, the RSI on the daily chart is at 58. Last time we were right around here. We were actually lower in price. So this is actually a pretty good sign that it looks like right now Bitcoin is starting to get into more of a bullish territory, a little bit more upside potential, especially on the daily. Just looking at this really quick, just over the last couple of days, obviously if we go far enough back to here, we can see the price was up a little bit higher, but looking at the closer range, we can see Bitcoin was actually lower here at 20,284. So $200 difference, but it's still a difference to the upside. So that's a good sign there. Let's take a look at the 1 hour chart. The 1 hour chart on it is the RSI is at 48 right now. Last time we were here, we were up a little bit higher on the price, but that was only, 10, 12 hours ago. It's kind of hard to go by that. So it might be correcting here a little bit on the 1 hour chart, possibly switching back over to a little bit bullish. But we'll keep an eye on the 4 hour. We're at 48. Last time we were at 48 was back here, and we were right about the same place. So we're kind of neutral right now on the 4 hour and the 1 hour chart. But the daily has kind of slowly possibly flipped towards being more bullish. All right, Ethereum is obviously up today a little bit. It was up 0.12% on the day. It closed out at 1,578. It is now at 1,576. So it's actually down a little bit, 1,578, and it is at 1,580. Okay, sorry. So we're up a little bit on that one. All right, let's take a look at the miners, see how they did today, and then we'll get into the news. So ANY was actually down today 2.04%. That's Sphere 3D, 44 cents. ARGO was down another 18.58% today to 8 cents. They have been obviously gotten hammered ever since the news came out that they sold some miners and they couldn't secure the financing through a direct investor. Digital was down 1.89% to $1.04 today. Bitfarms was down 1.32% to 94 cents. Cleanspark was down 6.32%, surprisingly, even though they provided pretty good news. So they were down to $3.26. Core Scientific was down 10.35% to almost 18 cents on the day. Digihost was down 3.97 to 69 cents, almost 70 cents. DMG was it was up actually 0.57% to 18 cents. Greenwich was down 8.46% to 89 cents. Hive was down 0.32% to $3.08. Hut 8 was down 2.68 to $2.18. Iris Energy was up 0.1539 just kind of got in the habit of saying down. Luxfolio was actually up today 13.83% to 5 cents. Marathon was down 6.79% to $12.22. Mawson was up 1.02% to 44 cents. Riot was down 6.39% to $6.45. Soluna was up 0.90% to $1.12. Stronghold was down 3.04% to 92 cents. And with all these miners being down, in the pennies now, this kind of reminds me of back in 2018, 2019 when Hive was, I believe they bottomed out at around 8 cents back then. And then obviously they came screwing back up, obviously, when Bitcoin started going back up to a high of $5 and something cents. So they went up in value like 4,000, 5,000% in that time frame. So we are getting potentially, I'm not saying that we're getting there, but we might be getting close to the bottom here on the miners. Obviously, it all depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin falls even more, we're going to be falling here as well. All right, let's take a look at the network hash rate right now, and let's restart this. Network hash rate came down a little bit today. We're looking at the 7-day average. We are at 257 million terahashes right now, so it has come down. In my yesterday's video, I think I commented, one of you guys asked if what's the percentage of the miners that I covered that are helping increase basically the network hash rate. I came up with 50%, roughly 55% of the miners that I cover have obviously impacted the network hash rate increase, and that was only based on their own self-mining. If you add in with some of them that have hosting, we would be probably closer to like 65, 70% of the network increase has been from the miners that I cover right now over the last year. So this is from January basically to September. So that's a lot. And then obviously the rest of it is from other miners that we don't cover or are private or are hobbyists doing it as well. So that's obviously impacting it as well, the rest of it. But there you have it. The miners that we cover have a lot of impact obviously on this. And it's going to go up higher because we obviously know Marathon's going to be going up higher. Cleanspark is going up higher. Bitfarms, Hive also. So there's still a lot of the miners are going to be getting hash rate installed here in the next several quarters. All right, so let's get into our first story here on Cleanspark. And here we go. So there's a lot to digest here. So Cleanspark expands Bitcoin mining fleet with purchase of 3,853 latest generation miners or machines. So total machines purchased since bear market conditions began in June now exceed 26,500. So they've bought a lot of miners. That's basically 2.6 exahash on average if you're looking at the 100 terahash miners. That is a lot of machines being bought, obviously, which we're not hearing a lot from other miners about this. I think they're the only ones that we're hearing about actually buying miners during this time. Everybody else is just trying to stay afloat, it seems like, or they're waiting on something that I'm just not aware of. But we'll obviously, hopefully we'll get news from other miners, especially ones that have a lot of cash on the side, like Hut 8, Hive. Well, Hive is going to be getting the Intel miners. They're supposed to be getting those, I think, Q3 and Q4 and Q1 of 2023. So that's coming up for them. That's another 1 exahash plus for that. But obviously Hut 8 has a lot of HODL position. They're just sitting on that cash, not doing anything with it, when right now, I mean, you're able to get miners for like $15 per terahash, which is insane, which is a really good deal. So let's get into this here. Today, Cleanspark announced it has acquired 3,843 units of Antminer S19J Pro Bitcoin mining machines for 5.9 million, or approximately $15.5 per terahash. And obviously yesterday we covered the story on ARGO that they were selling. Where was it here? The company sold 3,843 new inbox Bitmain S19J Pro machines, but those were sold for like $14.57, I think, something like that. So whoever the third party is, if this is the case where these were sold and Cleanspark bought these up, it's obviously a little bit more. Well, 3,843, 3,843. So it does look like possibly Cleanspark picked these up here. Whoever was the third party made about like $300,000 in the deal just by buying it from ARGO, selling it to Cleanspark. They made $1 profit per terahash basically on it. So good job for them. Easy money there. So this brings the total number of machines purchased by the company since bear market conditions began to over 26,500. And here's a quote from Zach Bradford. The most recent purchase demonstrates how Cleanspark continues to execute in distressed markets, said Zach Bradford, Cleanspark CEO Our unwavering focus on sustainability has provided us with a strong balance sheet and operating strategy that has allowed us to acquire machines at incredible prices, grow our hash rate, and increase our daily Bitcoin production in anticipation of market conditions improving over the next several months. So they are obviously expecting Bitcoin to go up in price, which is obviously a good sign there. Hopefully others are seeing the same thing. We'll have to obviously wait and see if that actually happens. Right now, things are looking like that, but we'll see. They go into some of the other details, the other miners that they've bought in the past, the 6,500 back in September when they bought the Centersville, Georgia facility from, I think that was from Austin. They also bought 10,000 brand new miners back in September, and in August they acquired a 36 megawatt facility in Washington, Georgia, which included 3,400 machines. So that's all included there. And going down here, excuse me, Cleanspark reached its year-end guidance of 5 exahash ahead of schedule earlier this month and has since raised its year-end guidance to 5.5 exahash. The company expects to meet its 2023 year-end guidance of 22.4 exahash, an achievement that would make it one of the largest publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies in the world. I think would make them in number 2 for self-mining. I think Marathon might be ahead of them at 23.4, 23.2, something like that, exahash. And so that's just going to get them a little bit ahead of Marathon. But who knows what happens next year? They could increase his guidance to 30 exahash. Who knows? They've been on a tear right now, and I'm actually loving it. So let's take a look at the numbers that we have for them, where it actually takes them currently for the miners that we do have on them. So obviously, Cleanspark right now is at 5 exahash right now. Future hash rate with this increase gets them to close to 6.8 exahash right now. So that's another 1.8 exahash increase, depending when those get installed. And that obviously leaves them with about 35% growth left. They are saying that they're going to get to 5.5 exahash by the end of the year. They may also be getting increased as well based on the purchases that they've had, as long as they have space to put those miners into. And I think they are working with Lancium. I'm not sure. I think Lancium was supposed to be up and running for the Q1, right? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But here's what we have for them. We added these miners here, the 3,143. That got them obviously up to 6.8 roughly, pretty close to that right now. So that was a nice increase and a great time to buy, obviously, for them. At $15.5 dollars per exahash is a real good deal there. I don't know how much lower we're going to see miners go down than that, but that is actually a really, really good deal. So basically they paid $1,550 per miner on that, when just earlier this year these miners were going for $10,000. So huge savings there. But yeah, that's it right now. Obviously, we're still waiting for Cleanspark to provide their October production updates. Hopefully they'll come out maybe tomorrow or Thursday. We'll see. And then we'll get into that as far as what they actually have. Currently, I have them for October with what they provided us. We have, let me see here. We have them at, 5 exahash, possibly mining 10.5 million in revenue, roughly. But we'll see, obviously, what they provide us. But this is just preliminary numbers. All right, it's obviously a great job at Cleanspark. I love the fact that they're continuing to add on miners at this, at these prices. They're going to obviously be able to get the money back a lot quicker if had they bought back when the miners were at $10,000 a miner or something like that. Would have taken a lot longer. But now it's going to obviously be a quick turnaround, hopefully within 9 to 12 months possibly, to get those get an ROI on those. All right, so, excuse me. So that's Cleanspark there. Let's get into Bitfarms. Okay, back to the top. So in October, Bitfarms progressed on schedule at their Garlic farm and expect to energize the first 6 megawatts of its planned 18 megawatts capacity by mid-November, with full energization in December, said Geoff Murphy, president and COO of Bitfarms. In addition, phase 3 of the bunker is ahead of plan for its final 12 megawatt capacity and is also expected to be completed in December. So those are the good things there that we're seeing. There's obviously more things as well, but those are just a couple here. And also, let me see here. With no significant additions to capacity, our October hash rate was consistent with September, so they didn't install anything else new. Hash rate stayed the same at 4.2, and we exited the month at 4.2 exahash per second. And during October, we mined 486 BTC, averaging 15.7 BTC mined per day, and exited the month at 14.5 BTC per day. So obviously this isn't good, all right? This is the problem when you're not growing while the hash rate is growing, right? You're going to be making less money because of it. Overall production was impacted primarily by a 17% increase in network difficulty during the month, negatively impacting US per terahash revenue, basically, right? So if you're at 4.2 at the beginning of the month, at the end of the month, you're still at 4.2, while the network hash rate goes up, you're going to be making less for that month than you otherwise would have. So you basically have to kind of keep in line with network hash rate increases or above it to at least maintain your Bitcoin production or exceed it. So that's the challenge the miners are obviously facing here. The network hash rate is now responding quickly to changes in mining economics, which is a strong indication that we have found near-term support in Bitcoin mining economics as measured by US revenue per terahash. So that might be a good sign there. And then here are the details. So total BTC mined was 486. Month-end operating hash rate was 4.2. BTC average per exahash was 115. Operating capacity was 182 megawatts. Hydropower was 172 megawatts. And watts per terahash efficiency was 40. So that's not too, it's about average, I think, for the miners here. Some of the newer miners are obviously a little bit more efficient. You're looking at the 140 terahash miners from Nminer S19 XPs are, I think, 22, 21, somewhere around there. And BTC sold was 486, so pretty much what they mined, they sold in the month. Murphy added, while we continue to make progress in Argentina, we are adjusting our December 31st, 2022 corporate guidance from 6 exahash to 5 exahash to reflect the impact of the country's macroeconomic environment on our ability to import miners. So this is obviously not good news. There's a lot going on in Argentina. We're not going to get into it here, but here's the main points of it. Argentina is wrestling with high inflation, currency devaluation, and a significant debt burden, which is obviously putting a pretty big strain on the economy there. To alleviate concerns about a drain on Argentina's central bank's foreign currency reserves, trade approval for the importation of most goods, including mining and IT equipment, is being delayed. So that's obviously not good news there, which has been adversely affecting our ability to bring in additional 12,000 miners. We need to operate the first warehouse at its full capacity of 50 megawatts. So 12,000 miners at 100 terahash, you're looking at 1.2 exahash, basically, that they're waiting on right there. While we believe the restriction is temporary, we can't project the timing of its resolution, and accordingly, we have reduced our 2022 year-end corporate growth target, which is all fair and good, obviously, what's going on there. But that's kind of one of the things that, yes, they may get better electricity rate over there, but this is kind of one of the things that you do have to deal with countries that are maybe not as stable as some of the other ones, but that's just one of the things that you kind of have to deal with, I guess. And continuing on here, Bitfarms, private power producer in Rio Cuarto, is still awaiting approval of its final operating permits, and that's not good also. In the meantime, the farm is drawing power during the startup and commissioning phase from the provincial electrical utility at a higher cost than expected contracted cost of power under its executed power purchase agreement. So I think that's basically because they don't have enough miners to meet that, and that could be why. The company's private power producer expects the necessary permit to be forthcoming in the coming weeks and in case before the end of 2022, which that is actually good. That'd be great if they get that. Based on lower than expected power usage in Rio Cuarto, until more miners can be imported and installed. So here we go. Bitfarms can expect higher costs of production at the facility until such time as the company draws at least 26 megawatts. Yeah, so they got to get there's a milestone that they have to reach in order to get the lower cost on the electricity. Let me see here. Select operating highlights. We're not going to go into that. Mining operations, you guys can read over that as well. Here is their BTC monthly production. So they have been going up quite nicely here, except they went down a little bit in September and October. August was obviously their best month here at 534, and July was 500, so that's pretty good there. And they have been increasing ever since then a little bit. September was a down month, 481, and then 486 for October, which was still pretty good considering that they didn't install anything. Financial update. So this is important too. Continue to deleverage the company's balance sheet and reduce interest expense by making principal payments in October totaling $3.2 million and paying off our equipment term loan with the highest interest rate. So that's good. That's great. Held 2,064 BTC in custody on October 31st, representing a total value of approximately $42.3 million based on BTC price of $20,500. So that's great. There, and that is it. So I don't think that they are in any strain on cash flow right now. I think they're still cash flow positive. They haven't said anything to that effect, which is obviously good news there. We've seen obviously miners like Core Scientific, ARGO struggling. So this is actually pretty good that they have cash on hand and obviously in HODL position as well. So that is good. All right, let's take a look at the numbers that we have for them here really quick on my spreadsheet here. So Bitfarms right now, we'll just go through the numbers here, has 200 million shares outstanding right now based on the stock price of 95 cents, market cap of 190 million. They have current hash rate of 4.2. Their future hash rate is supposed to be 7.5. Obviously, that's going to take a little bit longer to get there, but they still have pretty nice growth of 78.76% from where they are right now. Number of miners is 45,500 roughly, and average hash rate per miner is around 92 terahash, which is pretty good. BTC HODL, obviously we know, is at 2,064, valued at 40.5 million. HODL to market cap is about 21.34%, and each share has about 20 cents of HODL in it right now. Now, looking at the production here, they came in at 486 with the Bitcoin price that I'm using as the average Bitcoin price for the month of October. That got us to about 9.5 million in revenue, and that is an increase of 5 BTC over the last month, which is good. And they did sell 486 for a total of basically 9.5 million in revenue. They didn't install any miners, and I do have them at 115 BTC per exahash right now, so that corresponds with their information. In October, obviously, we didn't install any miners, so that's all the same. We do have them at 9.5 million. And the only thing that's kind of good here is the institutions. So we update this monthly. Institutions rose a little bit here from 111 to 113. Shares also increased quite nicely by about 1.3 million shares. They are now 17.02% owned by institutions, which is great. Other thing, we still have only one buy rating. It'd be nice to get some more ratings on them from other analysts. But the high, average, and low went up a little bit, 5 cents, from 362 to 367 across the board. So that's fine there. Obviously, they're going to be reporting their financial numbers for Q3 here, I believe, next week or the following week. We're getting close to it. They're going to be reporting it, so we'll cover that as well, and we'll add the numbers here into our spreadsheet, see how they did, see if there's any improvements or anything that's not looking good. So we'll get into that as well. Overall, right now, they are going to be making about 27 million for the quarter if everything stays the same, but Bitcoin price is the same, hash rate stays the same, and they don't install any other miners. This is kind of what we're looking at. Obviously, hopefully they'll get a little bit more miners installed by the end of the year. That should help them get maybe to, hopefully maybe beat this 31 million if Bitcoin goes up in price, obviously. And the 31 million for Q3 is an estimate, so we'll see how close we get to that when they report it. But right now, we're still using that number. And that gives us a total of 173 million right now in revenue. 50% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at 86 million, and a PE of 20. I think they should be around $8.66. And if they're a little bit more efficient with 75% net income from gross revenue, you're looking at $12.99 based on the information that we do have now. Obviously, with Bitcoin being down the way it is, obviously it is only now trading, well, it's at 95 cents. It is basically trading at a PE of 1 possibly, a little bit more than that, around 2.5 or so PE right now. But I do think that once Bitcoin starts going back up, we will see that PE go up much higher for them. So overall, flat month for them. Good to see that they are still working on build outs on their sites. We obviously need to see those sites come online. Miners get installed in Argentina and everything else, but they are working towards it. And I don't think there's going to be any issues going there. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, it's basically just a flat month, and we'll leave it at that. All right, let's get into our next one here, Digihost, really quick, and we'll call it a day. So Digihost announces year-over-year 78% increase in monthly Bitcoin production and provides operations update. And here's the important parts of it. So production highlights for October 2020. Mined 74.58 BTC, resulting in total holdings of 118.16 BTC at the end of October, valued at approximately 2.45 million. Based on BTC price of 20,705 as of October 31st. Total digital asset inventory value consisting of BTC and Ethereum of approximately 3.74 million. As of October 31st, in addition, the company held cash of approximately 3.42 million at the end of October. Cash and liquid assets as of October 31st totaled approximately 7.16 million. This compares to cash and liquid assets of approximately 7.46 million as of September 30th. So a little bit of decrease there, but not too bad. Consistent with management's commitment to avoid equity dilution for shareholders, the company sold a portion of its BTC production during October to fully fund its energy costs. Natural gas prices declined approximately 25% during the month of October, so this is obviously good. We don't like seeing dilution, so this is fantastic. The company continues to remain debt-free as of October 31st. This is obviously also good news there. The company's mining operations continue to remain cash flow positive. I think they had to kind of put this in there, guys. We've seen ARGO, Core Scientific, complaining about being possibly going cash flow negative. So they had to put that in there just to kind of ease investors' minds a little bit, I think. So assuming the persistence of current market conditions, including current BTC prices, hashing difficulty, and cost of energy, the company expects to continue to generate positive cash flow from operations to fund its existing development initiatives and will adhere to its policy of remaining debt-free. So that's all great. Also, Michael Amar, Chairman and CEO, said the following: I am also pleased to report to our shareholders that during the month of October, I continued to add to my position in Digihost by acquiring shares in the open market. So that is obviously really good news there. He's got obviously a lot of belief in the company. He's putting basically his money where his mouth is. So that's great there. Looking at it down here, we can see what they actually mined. Value, about 1.5 million in revenue. North Tonawanda power plant acquisition update. So as stated previously, management anticipates that the significant transaction will close on Q4 of 2022. So obviously we're now in Q4. With the power plant running at 50 megawatts, the company will be able to increase its current operating capacity of 650 petahash by approximately 150%, thereby increasing Digihost's hash rate to approximately 1.6 exahash. Now, I have a question on their increased hash rate because I only have them at a much lower number for total, unless they bought miners and I missed it. So if you guys have any information on that, please let me know down in the comments below. Alabama site build-out. So the Alabama Phase 1 build-out is continuing on schedule and on budget. Phase 1, scheduled for completion in Q4 of 2022, will provide the company with 22 megawatts of power capacity, resulting in additional mining capacity of approximately 550 petahash. When coupled with the incremental mining capacity from the NT power plant, Digihost's total computing power by the end of Q4 could reach up to approximately 2.2 exahash. So that is a huge increase from where they are right now, and I don't have the miners to get them to that 2.2 exahash. So I don't know if they're going to be buying miners or what's going on there. Excuse me. Also, NASDAQ listing. We obviously know that they are basically below the $1 requirement. They have 6 months to get this fixed until April. And they have to be basically 10 consecutive days above $1 in order to regain compliance. If compliance is not regained by April 10th, the company may be granted another 6 months period to achieve compliance. So they're also exploring options to regain compliance in the next 6 months. Such considerations include possible share consolidation, so they could be getting basically 5 shares for 1 or 10 for 1. However, management remains confident that its projected growth trajectory and mining capacity over the next 6 months should provide the necessary catalyst to help the company resolve the deficiency and regain compliance, which I think may also happen if Bitcoin also starts going back up. Okay, so that's everything that we know. Let's get into my numbers here on Digihost. We'll call it a day. And like I tweeted earlier today, this is going to be a long video. Unfortunately, sorry guys. I'll include obviously the chapters in the bottom, but I think if you're already at this point, you're going to watch the rest of it anyways. Okay, so here's what we got. Digihost has 28 million shares outstanding, which isn't a lot, which is really good. Stock price is at 70 cents right now. Market cap is 19 million, almost 20 million right now. So I mean, they could obviously consolidate some shares there, but maybe do a 2-for-1 that would get them above the $1, or maybe do a 3-for-1, something like that. We do know that they currently have a hash rate of 650 petahash, and there's some changes that I did here as well. Future hash rate that I have them currently at is 1.14 exahash, and they're saying they're going to get to possibly 2.2 exahash. I just don't know where those miners are coming from. Hash rate growth to get to 1.14 is 75%, which is pretty good. Hash rate, average hash rate per miner is 99, almost 100 terahash, so that's really good too. BTC HODL is 118.16, valued at 2.3 million. Here's what we have for them. They basically made 1.465, and what did they come in at? I think they came in lower than that, 1.5 at, well, they're using a 20. See, that's the thing, is we don't know when they sold it, whether they sold it throughout the month or if they actually sold it at the end of the month at 20,705. If they did, then my numbers are going to be off a little bit because I'm using the average Bitcoin price for the month of October. Okay, so I got them at 1.465 million. If they obviously sold throughout the month, basically on that average. That is a little bit of an increase, obviously, from September, which they had at 69. So almost 5 Bitcoins more mined in October than in September, which is good. And they sold 117 Bitcoin, it looks like, for 2.6, almost 2.7 million in revenue, roughly from that, where they are right now. Now, in October, I got rid of these 49 terahash miners. They had 1,000 of these. I'm thinking that the efficiency on those is pretty low. They didn't report that they got rid of them. But as a previous miner, these are the ones I would probably get rid of right about now, if not earlier. But I wanted to get the number up closer to my actual number of 1.4. And the only way I could do that was to get rid of these miners here and add 1,000 of these 102 terahash miners as well in here to get us to basically 650 petahash. And now my numbers kind of match up a little bit better with the revenue possibly. Otherwise, if I didn't have those in there, they were generating a heck of a lot less, which didn't seem possible, to obviously, to mine what they actually mined in Bitcoin. So that's kind of how that worked out. Okay. Institutions did decrease a little bit by 2 from 21 to 19. Shares stayed the same, though. So whoever sold, somebody else picked up. So that all stayed the same. And we still have one buy analyst on them for a price target of $3.67 across the board, average, high, and low. So there's that information, and currently we are looking for this current quarter of them making a little bit more, possibly about 4.2 million compared to 4.18 million in Q3. We're obviously waiting on Q3 numbers. This is my estimated number, what they possibly generated, but we'll see when they actually report it. And based on that information, we're looking at a total of 28.5 million for the last 3 quarters, and the current quarter, obviously, which was September, that we're still using numbers for. That got us to possibly 28.5 million. And if we use the 50% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at 14 million. And I give them a P of 10 right now. So they should be around $5.01 based on their low hash rate. That's the only reason why. But if Bitcoin starts going back up faster, higher, it might bump them up to 15, 20. That is obviously possible as well. And if their margins are a little bit better at 75% net income from gross revenue, excuse me, we're looking at maybe $7.52. But if they go up to 15 PE, if that's $7.52 to $11.28, and that is basically because they have so little shares out. So any little improvements they can get on the PE has a huge impact, obviously, on their stock price potential. So that's kind of where I'm seeing them right now. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments for both, obviously, well, for all three, really. Cleanspark, where do you guys stand with them as far as continuing to grow in this bear market? I think it's fantastic. Bitfarms, obviously, a little bit of slowdown here for them. They've been doing a really good job this year growing. So a little bit of a slowdown for them is not too bad. And let's take a look at Bitfarms really quick here as well. So you can see here how well they have grown. They basically doubled, almost doubled. They started at 2.3 exahash in the year, and they're at 4.2 right now, almost double from where they came. So that's pretty good. We'll take a look at Digihost really quick as well while we're at it. Digihost started at 415. They are up to 650. So 50% increase, which is still pretty good for them, being a smaller miner and everything. So let me know what you guys thought of Bitfarms, Digihost as well. And I think that's it. Spreadsheet is available to the Patreon members. I thank everyone there for their continued support. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And I thank everyone for watching. Love you all. Have a great night. I'll see you in the next one.